wiring in this Cadet 240 volt baseboard heater, and I got it all mounted. That's easy to do. I wasn't able to find another video describing how to do this, so I had to figure it out. It wasn't hard, but I was kind of surprised there wasn't a video out there. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I'm wiring a 240 volt baseboard heater to a thermostat. I've already cut the hole up here, and I'm going to show you how to do this. This is 12-2 wire, and this is 12-3 wire here. And if you don't know the difference, by the way, I'm not an electrician, and if you don't feel comfortable doing this, you want to consult an electrician, but I'm going to walk through the steps that I did, and if you follow those, you're on your own. This black wire here is the circuit for the heater, and it has the same circuit on both ends. I'm doing my electrical over here away from the water. By the way, this is on a circuit breaker that is GFCI, AFI, water rated circuit breaker, so it's fine. I'm not introducing an electrical risk here. And I actually kind of like that it's below the towels. It's going to warm them up when you're in here. So I'm going to walk through how we install this, and I'm going to tell you right now that this wire right here is ran to my breaker. So my power is coming into my heater, and then it's going to go up through this 12-2 wire to my thermostat, which is up here. And I'm going to split these and show you the wiring. I'm using this Cadet 521 thermostat that only has 2 wires. It's a red and a black. And we have a black and a white. We're going to repurpose the white inside of here and then make the circuit down there. And it's the same if I did it on that end or this end. The heater has this black wire capped off that we're going to end up cutting and splicing in to the thermostat to make the circuit through our heater. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I've gone ahead and pulled the Romex back, and I'm going to strip these wires here. I'm going to show you this. It's a little hard to do one-handed, but these are really slick wire strippers for going through and cutting this wire. I gotta get it in the right slot. Cutting this wire of its sheeting without ruining the wire. And so there's a stranded and a solid side, and put it on there, and it easily strips that off to what we need to make that connection. I'm gonna come down here and do the same thing. Come over here and get it in the 12 spot. And that one's stripped there. And come on, get it this solid side. A little hard to do one-handed. Really handy. I honestly like these. You could use a regular old set of wire strippers as well. They work. By the way, we're not going to be using this bottom white in here because you don't use it on a 240 circuit. We use the red, the black, and the ground. And it's because 240 volt makes a loop on the power side, not a loop through the ground like 120 does. So now that we've got these, one last one, come on, all stripped, we're ready to start making these connections up. And I'm going to leave this for right now until we finish what we're doing up here on the thermostat. And what we're going to do is take our thermostat and splice in these wires with where they belong on the back of that T521. Okay, so I've got my T521, and this is a single pole, meaning that it's only got one set of wires in here, and it is going to go through and connect just this circuit here. We're going to make the other connection down at the heater on the bottom. And these are always controversial. No, they will not burn your house down. I know some people are going to probably heckle me in the comments, but I really like them. Wago connectors. So here is my Wago connector, Wago, and it's perfect. I don't have any exposed copper hanging out the back. It's connected. You can view it on the back to see that both wires are, if it'll focus, are all the way in there, and it's great. So this is going to be the power coming up to our thermostat and then the wire going back to it. Let's grab another Wago, and you can use traditional wire nuts if you want here. I'm gonna actually cap the bottom white wire off with that. And again, we are repurposing this white as a hot wire. That's very common practice. It's not me being sloppy, not me being lazy. Very common practice to do in a 240 circuit like this. So I'm going to go ahead and push that on there. You see I can give it a good little tug. It's not coming undone. You can go look for videos out there where they have tested these to see what heat they will withstand. A baseboard heater, you kind of think that it's going to take a lot of amperage. This is only a 750 watt, roughly 7 amps heater, and I can look up, there's different ratings, the length of the line, the quality of the cable, all of that, but this is all connected in here. The Wagos are connected. I've got my ground just shoved back in there because we don't use the ground on the thermostat. There's not even a place to mount the ground on the back of the thermostat. You can't do anything with it. You see your load and your line that we have coming in here. So now we have this all set up. We're going to come down here and connect these wires up to this setup here. Which wire is going to take it up to the thermostat here, and which one's going to bring it down, and how we get it all connected. So let's go ahead and get these wires prepped up, ready to go, and we'll go through that scenario. I'm going to cut this ground off here. I don't need to cap it because you don't need to cap a ground, but I am going to cap this white wire because we don't use that in this scenario. The first connection we're going to make down here, and if you remember this bottom set of wires, I'm trying to get this out of the way for you to see it. This bottom set of wires are my wires from my breaker. And what I'm concerned about with right here are my blacks and my reds. The black hot coming from the circuit breaker is going to go directly up to my black on my thermostat. So I'm going to take a connector here, slide it in there, connect that up, and then my connector here. So our black to black is going up to that wire there. Now the next piece that we need to do, this is again, black coming from my breaker, is going to the thermostat, not into the heater's wiring. It's going to go up to the thermostat. The thermostat's going to make the connection, and it's going to bring the power back down through the red, which is going to be the new power traveler, the white, down here. Now, what's going to happen here is this white is going to go to one of these, and it doesn't matter which one of these black wires. We're going to cut this off right here and strip this and run this white to one of the black ones and this red to the other black one. And then we're almost done. We have to run our ground to this screw and cap this wire. So let's do our white to black first. And we're going to start by cutting this connector off. And yes, this is how you do it. This isn't me doing something weird or strange or not following the instructions. If you follow their instructions, it tells you inside of here that you're going to cut this factory connection. Kind of going to blur out on you, but it's going to cut that factory connection. Cut only this factory connection. So this is doing it to the instructions per the manufacturer, but it's a little bit confusing with 240 and a single pole. Okay, I've got all my wires stripped from the thermostat and those wires cut on the heater. So you can see our black wire here and our black wire here from the heater. Try and get it where you can see it a little bit better. See that black wire just out of the heater and black wire out of the heater? We're going to take, and it doesn't matter which one, put a connector on our white wire here. And by the way, I did use these protectors for your Romex and a snap fit connector here for running that metallic tubing in there. It makes it really Both of these work great for this scenario. You want this so it holds the Romex in place, and this makes it so it doesn't cut your wiring as well. But back to this. We have our white that's coming down from our thermostat, and you can label these, you should label these that this is now a traveling hot, just in case somebody comes in here in the future and is working on stuff. It's now a hot wire, not a neutral. So there are our 2 wires there. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take this red wire that's coming from our breaker, and we're going to put a connector on that as well. I'm opening that up with my other hand. Snap that one in there. Bend it to where I can get that in there as well. Let's do it single-handedly. Come on. There we go. I'm going to check all these with both hands. I'm trying to film and show you at the same time. I can flip it over and see. I'm actually going to push that red wire up further. That's another reason I like these Wagos, is you can visually see, do you have the connection in there all the way? And I do have it in there now. So I'm going to check all these really quick, and I'm going to mount this ground. I'll take one more video clip showing you that I capped this and put this on there and test all the connections, and I'll show you before we button it all up. By the way, if you don't know this, take your cutters, side dikes, side cutters, and take and bend that in a clockwise fashion, if you're not aware, so that when you hook this on your ground screw inside of here, like that, it will take and tighten down with it and won't push it out the side. So this is going to make a better connection. Let me go ahead and finish that up. I wanted to show you it before I wrapped it up. Okay, and this is our finish. I did put a wire nut capping off that neutral because we don't use it. I have folded my wires back up in there. We've got all of our connections tested, and also our ground going in that clockwise turn so that it's all buttoned up tight. But super clean install. This is set up. I'm going to go ahead and test the power on everything. But honestly, this is done, and that's how you do it. You bring your black in and take your black up to your thermostat. Take the white from your thermostat back down, and it connects to one of the black wires on the heater, and then take your red in to the other black wire on the heater, connect your ground, and you're done.